Hi all, and welcome to today's lesson on speed, distance and time. And in today's lesson we're going to be focusing on finding the distance and the time in particular. So the first thing I want to remind you about is from the previous lesson that we did when we was finding average speed. That when we want to find average speed, we use this speed, distance, time triangle. And if we want to find the average speed here, then it's distance over time. So average speed is distance over time. However, we can use the same triangle in a way that we can use it to help us find the time. So if we want to find how long it took a journey to take, then the time here, we circle it, and we know then it's distance over speed, so distance divided by speed. So here we can use that triangle to calculate time. We need to do the distance divided by the average speed. And very similarly then, we can use exactly the same technique and we can find the time, so the distance. So if we want to find the distance that something takes, distance is on top here, so speed and time are next to each other on the bottom, so it's speed times time. So in order to find the distance that something travels, then we work out the average speed and multiply it by the time it takes. Make some key notes on that because we're now going to apply that in some examples. So example 1 then. Jane is driving at an average speed of 60 miles per hour on a journey of 540 miles. How long will this journey take? Well, we're being asked in the question how long, which is the time. So if I identify the time here in the triangle, I know it's distance over speed. So the first thing I know that to work out this problem, I know I'm going to divide the distance by the speed. So going back to the information in the question, I can find that Jane's distance was 540 miles. So she travels 540 miles, and the average speed she takes is 60 miles per hour. So I'm going to divide that by 60 miles per hour. Now, we divide 540 by 60. So how many times does 60 go into 540? You could simplify the problem by dividing both values by 10. It's the equivalent of 54 divided by 6, which is 9. So in this case, it's 9 hours. So the journey takes 9 hours. Example 2 then. Chris cycles at an average speed of 8 miles per hour. If he cycles for 6.5 hours, how far does he travel? So the question this time is how far he travels. So that's the distance. So I know that if I want to find distance, I'm going to multiply speed and time together. So distance is speed times time. So in the question, I know the average speed he travels is 8 miles per hour. So it'll be 8 miles per hour multiplied by how long he travels, which is 6.5 hours. So that's going to be times 6.5 hours. Now, we could again focus on the numerical side of it. So really we want to focus on doing 8 multiplied by 6.5. So there's different ways you can do that. So what we're actually working out is 8 times 6.5. You could break it down into 2 separate calculations by doing 8 times 6 and 8 times a half. And 8 sixes are 48, and 8 times a half, or half of 8, is 4, and adding those two together will get you your total. So we get 48 out of 4, which is 52. So in this case, 8 times 6.5 is 52, and we want to know what the units are. How far? Well, it's in miles per hour, so he would travel 52 miles. Right, what I want you to do now is open up the worksheet that I've attached on your assignment and have a go at the questions on there. And then when you've done that, come back to the video and have a look at the check-in question and have a go at that. Okay, this is the check-in question then. It's an exam question which was on a calculator paper. We have Megan and Rodri both set out at the same time from home, and they go to the swimming pool. Rodri drives in his car, and Megan cycles straight through the park. So we can see from that on here, this is Megan's route. She drives straight through the park, and Rodri, because he goes in his car, he takes the route that's highlighted here. So that's the situation. Rodri's journey then by car is 5.5 miles. His average speed is 22 miles per hour. That's an important bit of information that we can use. Megan, then, for Megan, her average speed is 12 miles per hour, and we are being told that she actually arrives at the swimming pool 5 minutes before Rodri. We are being asked to calculate the distance that Megan cycles. Give your answer in miles. You must show all your work in. What I would like you to do now is pause the video and have a go at the question, and then when you're ready, have a look at your solution and check it over with mine. So the first thing then that we note is the information we've been given for Rodri. We are being given for Rodri the distance, and we're given his average speed. So we're given distance and speed. Well, what can we actually calculate from that? Well, the only thing that we don't know is the time that he's taken. So for Rodri then, we know we can find the time by doing distance divided by speed. Well, in this case, distance is 5.5 miles, and he traveled at an average speed of 22 miles per hour. Now, we can divide that on our calculator, so 5.5 divided by 22 will give us an answer of 0.25. But that's 0.25 hours. To think about 0.25 in fractional form, that's the equivalent of 1/4 of an hour. And as there are 60 minutes in an hour, then that is the equivalent of 1/4 of 60, which is 15 minutes. So we know from that information that Rodri took 15 minutes to complete his journey. Now we can come back to Megan's information. Now her average speed is 12 miles per hour. Use a different color pen here to highlight Megan's information. So her average speed is 12 miles per hour, and she arrives at the swimming pool 5 minutes before Rodri. Well, that's her time. She's arriving 5 minutes before Rodri. Now we've just worked out that Rodri has taken 15 minutes to do his journey. So if Megan arrives 15 minutes before, then we can say that Megan's time was 15 minus 5, which is 10. So Megan took 10 minutes to cycle from her home in a straight line straight to the swimming pool. So now we know what her time is. We can now actually use this to work out her distance. So from the speed, distance, time triangle, we know that the distance is speed times time. So in this case, what we've got is we're going to be working out 12 miles per hour times, well, in this case, it's going to be 10 minutes. Which takes 10 minutes, but we've got it in hours. So we need to put 10 minutes into an hour. Well, what do we know about minutes and hours? We know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. So to do this bit, really, that's 10 minutes out of 60. So that's in hours. We can simplify that a little bit further. So we can say that it's 12 miles per hour times 1/6 of an hour. 10 minutes is 1/6 of an hour. So we can now do the numerical part. We can do 12 times 1/6, or 1/6 of 12, which is 12 divided by 6, which is 2. So it's 2 miles, the distance that Megan travels. I hope today's video has been really helpful for you, and thank you for listening.